All right, so we ended at the chart title being shaded, and I think that's the really coolest thing, to be honest with you. But if you go into other 3D formats and everything besides shadows, you put little bevels on it and make it look like it's almost metallic in nature. Um, Bottom bevels, things like that. Now you could actually increase the width of these things, but the reason this isn't doing it now is because I have the automatic pieces in here. I have a solid line, so if I put no line on here and start changing things, it'll actually work out a little bit better. So solid fill, let's put something like that on there. Good. And now I go back to these things and I can start changing them. Whatever you choose, you can make it look like it's indented in. Include that width in there so you could kind of see that piece is increasing. The height of it increases. The bottom bevel, if you want to make it 3D that way. So it's really a lot of fun, actually. This is the coolest thing, I think. And you can make the material, like I said, look, it's like it's metallic, it's shiny and everything. It's pretty sweet. So let's make it this way. So you could see that makes it look, I think, pretty cool. So anyhow, have fun with these things, please. I want to really see, A, what kind of creativity you can have, and B, that you know how to use this stuff because you've played with it enough. And quite honestly, I'm telling you guys, honest to God, that the best way to learn this thing is through literally playing around with it. All right, so that's this piece inside of here for all these extra pieces. Format chart area, format the back. You can put pictures in here. Now that's chart area because I selected that. This right here is the grid lines I can change. I can click on this for format the axis. I could put backgrounds on this stuff too. It really depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so have fun with it. Like I said. While in here, though, I do want to show you a couple other things. One of them is in the design tab here. Well, all these things in the format tab is just literally looks, okay? In the design tab, I want to show you guys something that says change chart type. So you could change the chart type. Right now it says a 3D cluster column chart. But what I could do is actually make it a line chart. You could make it a bar chart, area chart, scatter plot chart. Area is kind of cool as long as you do 3D, so you could actually see what's going on with it. Actually, let's make that one just for the heck of it, right? So you can see the area chart. Now you're missing things, obviously. I'm just trying to show you some things that you can do in here, really, to be honest with you. So that's kind of a cool thing. The best way to do this is if you're slowly building freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior and everything. If you're building as you go back, you're going to see all the pieces built up. So this may not be the best one, regardless of how cool it might look. Let's do undo on that. Change chart type. Let's go back to that line chart maybe. Let's do something like this. Okay, so you still get your line chart, you still get all these things being formatted and everything else. So this is one thing that you guys can do from it. Also, if you go over to here and go to the location group, this is how you're going to move a chart. If it says put the chart on its own sheet, this is how you are going to do it. You are not going to right-click, copy, go to another sheet, and paste. Okay? That is not how you're going to do this. You're going to click on this sheet, Design tab, Location group, move chart to its new sheet. Chart 1's fine. And now it's on its own sheet. The reason I'm saying it's its own sheet is because I cannot scroll up anymore. And when I scroll down, I cannot scroll down anymore. Literally, it's all by itself. You can no longer put anything on this sheet anywhere. So this is truly its own sheet. The only thing you can do, however, is to actually go ahead and put, in the page layouts, you can start putting margins and stuff like that in here. But if you open up the page setup dialog box, you can put in a custom header and a custom footer, it's called. So the custom header would be same thing, you put your name in here, which is what we've been doing. The right side, you can link to the file name, that's the reference piece, or the sheet name if you want to. Okay, it looks like that, but once we do it, you can see it says chart 1 because that's what the chart name is. So that's all stuff you can do inside of here anyway. You're not going to see it in here, though. No matter what you try, you can't see it. These things don't exist anymore. You can see I don't know if you could hear that. I'm trying to click on it and it's not working. They don't exist anymore because it's its own sheet. Okay? So let me go back to sheet number 1. So I think I showed most things here, and you can see that it disappeared from here. The data's still here. That's a good thing, right? But it's disappeared from that spot. So that's where, again, the location group is. Now I can't even get to that other tab here because it disappeared because I'm not selected inside of a chart. So other things I want to show you guys with this is if you wanted to, say, grab these titles here, and if you hold the control button and click and press portfolios with this, I have 2 separate pieces that are untouched. Okay, they're not next to each other, but I'm still using them in order to go to insert, and I'm going to make a pie chart, say 3D pie chart. So it's now dealing with portfolios for freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. It's only selecting that. Again, press and hold control and select this other data that was down here, and that will give you the other piece. Okay. Now what's cool about this is you can grab certain pieces. Right now you can see I clicked it once and I have all data, format data series, all of the data. If I click on the blue one again, okay, now it says all, format data point. Only here on these corners do you see the little dots or circles. I don't have them here anymore. I don't have them here anymore. So let me click off again. I'll click back on this once. And you see all of this is being selected. All the little tiny dots are here. If I click it again, I get a single data point. Only this blue piece, and in this case, the freshman piece. So if I click this one only, pull that one out, that's called an exploding pie chart. Okay? It sounds cooler than it is. It's being separated out. So this one too, it's an exploding pie chart. Where you would use this if you really want to put an emphasis on a certain piece, like for example this red one, I know it sounds funny, but it looks like a certain size right here. If you pull it out, it looks a little bit larger in comparison to this for some weird reason. I'm not really sure why, but it's like a mental mind trick that gets played. So if you really want to emphasize a piece, you use this. Also with this, you can do chart titles, it's here, okay, data labels. You can click data labels and it'll say 1, 2, and 3 and everything else inside of here, which may or may not help you, but what you can do is you could actually put these callouts out, like a data callout, sophomore, 33%, okay? And with that callout, you could actually change, whoops, sorry, I can't point to it. That 33%, I could actually change it so I don't have a percentage, but I have, say, the actual number. So junior, or does that sophomore? Let's look at our chart. Sophomore portfolio is 2, so it would say sophomore, comma, 2. Okay, same thing here with legends. You can move them wherever you want, top, right, side, whatever. Okay, but I think the data labels actually honestly are the coolest thing. But if you don't want to do that, or you want all of them, say, click all of the data, and then go to data callouts. Now it shows all these pieces. Okay, if you did not want to do that, data callout, we'll turn it off. Okay. What you can also do is called annotate a chart or a graph. By annotating one, you would go up to the Insert tab. Oops, sorry. The Insert tab will work. You can actually put pictures inside of here and everything else if you choose to, but you would go to the Design tab as well. And inside of here, you could annotate things if you want to, but in the Format tab, Insert Shapes Group, this is going to give you what's called a text box. Some of you guys might have used a text box in Microsoft Word if you ever used it, but a text box gives you something that you can write in over here, and it says I don't know, this is the largest group, I don't know, something like that. Okay, and I have to resize it obviously, and right now format shape, so I could actually shape this. I could have a fill, a solid fill, gradient fill. I can have lines, no lines, solid lines, gradient lines. Okay, so you could change all that stuff just like any other piece of the graph. In addition to that, when you do this, a nice thing that you probably want to do is in the Format tab, grab an arrow. So you make your arrow and point to that particular group. And just like everything else, format the shape. The shape of the arrow. I could have no, well, I have to have a line, otherwise it disappears. But a solid line, I could change the color to red. I could increase the thickness if I want to. Okay. And I can move it if I choose. Okay. Or I can say this is the, was it freshman? This is the, it's probably the smallest group. Smallest at 1. Okay. So there's things you can do with that. All right, so that's the pie charts and everything else. Lastly, I do want to show you guys another thing here. If I grab all of this data, and I'm going to include the totals this time. Insert. Let's do a, let's go with this one. 3D bar graph, okay? Now, I told you guys purposely I have the totals in here, right? I want to change it. So I'm going to go to change chart type, and I'm actually going to go to 3D column cluster, okay? So again, it looks like this, and it looks like it's really messed up. I don't want to do that. Switch rows and columns. This is still messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to still have the total information on here, but I'm going to change chart type one more time, and I'm going to click down to combo chart. Combo charts are really cool because I can have 2 different charts on one, hence combination. So if I click combo chart, you can see what's going on. I have clustered column, clustered column, clustered column. Senior, I want to be a clustered column chart also. Okay, but I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to pick line chart for the totals. Okay, so a line chart on the total only, and what's more so is, well, it still messes things up, doesn't it? You have an option here. It says secondary axis. So that one is going to have its own axis, so it at least looks nice on its own. This is going to be the axis for the research, essays, books, and everything else for each year. And this is going to be the axis for the totals only. So it makes it a little bit more convenient for that too. And how do you know the difference for these things? Well, again, you can go to this and you can start adding pieces. In the design tab or the format group, add chart element. You want axis titles? Great. Put axis titles on these things, okay? Primary horizontal, primary vertical. You could put these things on here. Secondary vertical would be this one. So secondary axis, I can say this is the axis for totals. Primary axis, I can say this is the axis for freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So that's where you could still include those types of pieces of information. It's very convenient for these things. Honestly, it's a lot of fun to play around with it, to actually get used to doing these things, but I highly recommend literally playing around with it. If you have any questions, please let me know. That's pretty much the end of it for as far as charts are concerned. So yeah, if you have to change data, again, select data, edit it from here, click OK. If you wanted to include anything else, if you wanted to eliminate anything else, you can do that. Otherwise, I think I told you guys everything that you need for this, and you guys can get started on your project. This should be the end of Module 4 stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in Module 5.